Hello guys, my name is Anna and I vlog daily from Ukraine since the start of brutal Russian invasion. Because I believe the world needs to know more about my country in these challenging times. And if you support Ukraine, please subscribe. That is the easiest way to demonstrate your solidarity and spread information about unjust Russian war in Ukraine. And those of you who follow me for a certain period of time might have already recognized that my today's vlog will be recorded in a very angry Anna mode. And I have to react to the message that I've heard yesterday from Stian Jensen, who is the head of Stoltenberg's office, speaking about giving up Ukrainian territories for the sake of future NATO membership. But before I begin giving you my opinion, I have to say that as a vlogger, I always warn you that I'm subjective, emotional. Finally, I am a person in a country at war. Yesterday, my native city was targeted with 2 Russian missiles, killing 3 civilians, and all the morning I could hear the bells tolling for them. But even in such conditions, I'm always very responsible about the information I share with you. I always double check. I think about the emotions or effects that it can have on our community. That's why I'm very, I'd say, tragically disappointed with the message that I've heard yesterday, because it cannot be an ordinary slip of the tongue. Come on, he is a NATO official and he is definitely responsible for every word that he says. And if he says this, he means this. Or he is supposed to test this kind of message in global environment. I'm also very much disappointed because I can literally imagine how happy lots of Russian politicians, including Putin, to receive such a message. That Ukraine can become a member of NATO if it agrees to give its territories to terrorist state Russia. Well, first of all, I have to say that as a Ukrainian, I would not like to be a member of such NATO. Why? Let me show you. Russia invaded Ukraine, breaking all international rules, demonstrating total disrespect to global unions, alliances, and showing this can be done. Russia killed thousands of Ukrainian civilians, including children, destroyed hospitals, maternity hospitals, schools, all infrastructure. They caused blackouts that resulted in lots of deaths that are not directly connected to war, but this is an example of terrorism, nothing else. 700,000 Ukrainian children were stolen by Russians, and International Criminal Court actually issued an order to arrest Putin as an international criminal. This summer, they blown up the Kakhovka Dam, drowning lots of old people in their houses and creating huge ecocide on the territory of Ukraine that can result in many different unpredictable things in the future decades. Constantly, they threaten the world with nuclear weapons. And after all of these crimes committed in a really short period of time, a NATO official, says that it can be negotiated, that some territories, after all of that, some territories protected with Ukrainian blood can be given to Russia, to the terrorist state, after murdering, after actually creating genocide in Ukraine. We can give them up some territories for the sake of what? Joining NATO. But if it happens, I will see that NATO is nothing. It is not capable of stopping a terrorism, or at least saying, yes, this is a terrorist state and they must be punished. And serious work must be done inside Russia to make it normal and acceptable in the world again. But no, they offer we give them a prize. Every authoritarian regime in the world that is very attentively observing this situation gets the message. As long as you have nuclear weapons and lots of orcs to die for your country, you can do whatever you want. It will be negotiated and you will get a prize, new territories that you've occupied. That's what actually Jensen said yesterday. And that's what everybody heard in Ukraine and in Russia and in China and in Iran and even in the North Korea. And this makes me feel very, very bad. Very bad. Because this way we actually legitimize Putin's crimes and we say, but sometimes you can do it. But sometimes it can be accepted for the sake, as Jensen said, everyone is interested that the war would not repeat. But this is exactly the path to many more wars to come, because why on earth would similar to Putin's or even Putin's regime stop if they see that for a year and a half of total crimes and genocide, they get new territories? Why so many people care about saving his face and still see him as a politician? If you're not subscribed to my channel and you agree that Putin is a criminal, please subscribe and share this message, because sometimes I feel like the future of the planet, not just of my Ukraine, you may not care about it, but of the planet depends on that. Don't you understand that we are giving precedence to other regimes by saying you can do whatever you want as long as you have nuclear weapons or you're big, and like we will talk about them. We will give them territories as a prize for membership in NATO. Don't you understand that by being this kind of organization, you do not guarantee anything? You do not protect, you do not do anything. You are not even objecting. As Ukrainian grannies were on the streets of their occupied cities. I am very much afraid that this is not an accidental slip of the tongue and that lots and lots of politicians will try to encourage Ukraine to negotiate with the terrorist state, forgetting that terrorists who get what they want continue. I can equate it to a situation when, for example, terrorists take the city as hostages and a good president says, okay, as long as you promise not to take any other cities, you can kill everyone in the city that you captured, but don't you move out of that city. That's what Jensen said yesterday to Russia and Ukraine. That, okay, after a year and a half of genocide, bombing, terrorist threats, and stealing 700 Ukrainian children, we can give you these territories, but Ukraine then possibly maybe will become a member of something that NATO is. No, I don't want to be a member of NATO that might agree with Russia and steal Ukrainian territories. Another thing that so many people forget, these are not just territories. First of all, these are territories sprinkled with Ukrainian blood. These territories are somebody's homes, schools, and friends that in such case can be forever erased from the face of the planet. This is someone's home. Imagine that to solve any kind of problem in your state, in your country, a president decides to trade your part of the country to someone else for better oil or gas prices. Do you realize what consequences this will have for you and your family? So why do you think it's okay for Ukrainians when daily they pay such high prices? Protecting not just us, believe me, not just Ukraine. We don't trade Ukrainian territories. Message number one. We've learned the mistakes. I don't know why the world does not see what Russia did in Chechnya, what Russia did in Georgia, how Russia annexed Crimea, how Russia now kills Ukrainian and is ready to continue. And believe me, with each day I have more and more doubts if there is any union really ready to resist, same as we do. Also, we will never legalize Putin and negotiate with him, because it's the same as to negotiate with Hitler. I don't think it's possible in any sane environment. Also, we are very much devastated that such messages are heard by Russia, because this will definitely fuel their military machine. This will give them more enthusiasm, because they see they are not driven in this corner but they see that the world is kind of ready to accept. And that's very bad news. Let me know what you think about this message. Once again, don't tell me it's just a mistake. Like, such mistakes, they cannot be accidental if they are made by such people who occupy such positions. Let me know, what do you think? Cheer me up, please, because I'm kind of angry. Thank you so much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons. Share the video if you agree with me. If you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe. We have to win this war. Subscribe to my Instagram, Twitter, Discord, and Threads. You can introduce yourself to our merch. There are some good messages that we try to spread with these caps and t-shirts. But most importantly, please understand, we cannot tolerate Putin. We cannot forgive the crimes committed here. Russia is a terrorist state, and it must be not just stopped, but punished. Thank you so much for understanding, and Slava Ukraini!